So, sometimes we have weeks like I had this week where we're tired and we don't feel like it, or maybe it's been rough. Maybe we haven't gotten any sleep. But I want y'all to see what David did. This is what David did. In verse 1, it says, Bless Yah, O my soul, and all that is within me. Bless his set apart name. Bless his Kadosh name. So, David, sometimes we got to talk to ourselves. That's what David is doing right here. He said, Bless Yah, oh my soul. Sometimes that's what we got to do. Sometimes we got to talk to ourselves when we just say feeling it all like that. We got to hey, soul, I know you're tired. I know you're frustrated. I know you're sad. I know you might be angry. But we got to bless Yah. He's worthy no matter what we going through. He's worthy of all the praise, whether I'm feeling down or whether I'm feeling up. He's worthy. So we can be like David right here. And sometimes we can talk to ourselves. So don't feel bad. Don't feel bad if every now and then you find yourself talking to yourself, because we see that David did it. I bet you wouldn't be laughing at David if he was right in front of you. So we can talk to ourselves and encourage ourselves. In verse 2, he said, Bless Yah, O my soul, and forget not all his benefits. See right there, that's what then gets me to start tearing up a little bit, because even when we don't feel like praising the Most High, even when we don't feel like it, when we just start to think about what He's already done for us, when we start to think about how He has blessed us, how He has given us life, how He has sent His only begotten Son, Yahushua HaMashiach, for us, we gotta not forget all the benefits. That's going to help us. That's going to help us in those times that we don't even feel like praising the Most High, Yah. So I just wanted to throw that in there because I feel good after that praise. So all praise to the Most High Yah, and I also want to give the Most High Yah thanks for my family, for my wife, for my children. I want to give praise and honor for Goshen Group, the Goshen Group leaders. I'm thankful that I can call them at any time, and they will. I know they'll answer the phone, and we can get into the scripts if I have something I just want to talk about. I know that they're there, and I thank the Most High Yah for all of you, because there's many on this call, all of you in Goshen Group, where I've been able to talk to y'all. Y'all have been encouraging as well, and I just give the Most High honor today. He is good, and He's worthy to be praised. Hallelujah. So I'm excited today. We have a message that I believe is straight from the throne. As you can see, today we're talking about the entrance exam. So we got these brothers, and they are they're about to go through something. They're about to go through something. These are the ancient Israelites, and they are in the wilderness. And as you can see, they in a dry, barren place. They just left Egypt. Um, but we're gonna look and see what kind of tests they had to go through. So the entrance exam, we're going to when you're taking an entrance exam, that means you're trying to enter into something. So that's what our topic is going to be about today. And so I got this definition. I know most of us know what an entrance exam is, but just for those who need to be reminded, it's a test that you take to be accepted into a school. So uh, I remember when I was younger, I had to take a test. I had to take a test in order to apply to get into this school that my parents were trying to get me into. So I went to the school. They gave me a tour of the facility, and I'm telling you, that facility was awesome. They had an awesome uh, arena. They had awesome campus. And this is when I was in middle school and high school. And I said, okay, I think I want to go to this school. This school is very nice, very nice. But before I could join that school, they put me in this room and they gave me a few pieces of paper and they said, we need you to take this test. And so I took the test, and if I didn't pass that test, if I didn't get a certain score, then they weren't going to allow me to enter into that school, enter into that school. So this is what an entrance exam is. Sometimes you got to take an entrance exam if you're trying to apply to a certain job. You know, they'll try to give you a test, and you got to answer all these questions. And if you don't get enough of the questions right, if they don't think that you have studied enough, if you don't know, uh, if you don't have the skills that are necessary to perform that job, you're not going to get the job. So these uh these ancient Israelites, they took a test. Of- So did Yah test the ancient Israelites? Of course he did. Of course he did. So we're going to look at a few scriptures. As we are going through this test, just as we've been discussing during our 6 day study, we've been in Matthew chapter 18. I want to remind everyone that in Matthew chapter 18, verse 3, that if we want to enter into the kingdom, we got to be converted and become like children. So I put it to you that we should, as we are going through our tests, we should remember, we should remember what we've been studying in Matthew chapter 18, that we need to become like children. So verily I say unto you, except ye be converted and become as little children, we shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven. So First verse we're going to first verse we're going to look at is Exodus chapter 16, and we're going to look at verse 4. We're going to look at some of the tests that Israel went through in order to help us as we're going through our tests. So Exodus 16 verse 4, it says, Then said Yah unto Moses, Behold, I will rain bread from heaven for you, and the people shall go out and gather a certain rate every day, that I may prove them whether they will walk in my law or no. Uh, Keith, would you mind bringing up the scripts? We're going to look at that chapter. We're going to look at that whole chapter. We're going to look at Exodus 16, verse 4. I just starting verse 1. Starting verse 1. It says, And they took their journey from Elim, and all the congregation of the children of Israel came into the wilderness of Sin, which is between Elim and Sinai, on the 15th day of the second month after their departing out of the land of Egypt. And the whole congregation of the children of Israel murmured. They were complaining against Moses and Aaron in the wilderness. And the children of Israel said unto them, Would to God that we had died by the hand of Yah in the land of Egypt, when we sat by the flesh pots, and when we did eat bread to the full. For ye have brought us forth into this wilderness to kill this whole assembly with hunger. So then in verse 4 we see, Then said Yah unto Moses, Behold, I will rain bread from heaven for you, and the people shall go out and gather a certain rate every day, that I may prove them whether they will walk in my law or not. So, as we can see here, the children of Israel, they're complaining to Moses. They saying, why'd you bring us out here, Moses? Did you bring us out here to die? And in verse 4, we see that the Most High Yah, he tells Moses, look, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring bread. It's going to come out of heaven. And the people, what they're going to do, they're going to go out and they're going to gather a certain amount every day. And the reason for this is so that I may prove them, I may test them. See, this was all a test, whether they will walk in my law or not. So the Most High knew what he was doing. The Most High knew that he was bringing the Israelites to a place of hunger. He knew that he was taking them to a place where, they are going to not have the food so readily like they had for a moment and for a season. And he did this. He said, I'm going to rain down bread from heaven. And when I rain down this bread from heaven, this is going to be a test. This is going to be a test to see if you really are going to keep my commandments. Even though I'm going to give you what you asked for, we're going to see if you're going to keep my commandments or not. So this is the test right here. This is the test. Verse 5, it says, and it shall come to pass that on the sixth day they shall prepare that which they bring in, and it shall be twice as much as they gather daily. So every day they're going out, they're going to gather the manna, and on the sixth day they're going to grab twice as much manna. And Moses and Aaron said unto all the children of Israel, at even, when the sun gets red, when it's going down, then ye shall know that Yah hath brought you out from the land of Egypt. And in the morning, then ye shall see the kabod, or the esteem of Yah, for that he heareth your murmurings. He hears all the complaints that you're making against him. So when you see this happening, Israel, when you see this, you're going to know he heard y'all. He heard the fact that y'all complaining to Moses. When y'all see this bread falling, y'all going to know this for sure. So for that he heareth your murmurings against Yah, and what are we that ye murmur against us? See, Moses is like, who are we? Why are you complaining to us? We're not the ones that brought you out. It was the Most High that brought you out. So why are you complaining to us? This is what Moses is saying right here. Verse 8, and Moses said, this shall be when Yah shall give you in the evening flesh to eat, and in the morning bread to the full, for that Yah heareth your murmurings, which ye murmur against him. And what are we? Your murmurings are not against us, they are against the Most High Yah. So Moses, he spake unto Aaron, saying unto all the congregation of the children of Israel, come near before Yah, for he's heard your murmurings. He's heard all your complaints. He's heard all your gripes. And it came to pass, as Aaron spake unto the whole congregation of the children of Israel, that they looked toward the wilderness, and behold, the esteem, the kabod of Yah appeared in the cloud. So as Israel is complaining, and the Most High Yah is bringing down food from heaven, he's bringing down bread from heaven, the Israelites, they are being a witness of Yah's power. They are being a witness of what he can do. Yah is leaving no doubt in their mind that he's in control of things. He's leaving no doubt, no doubt. Verse 11, and Yah spake unto Moses, saying, I have heard the murmurings of the children of Israel, speaking to them, saying, at even ye shall eat flesh, and in the morning ye shall be filled with bread, and ye shall know that I am Yah your Elohim. See, they knew. See, we're talking about a test today. We're talking about the test. This the entrance exam. This is the entrance exam that the children of Israel are going through. They're being tested, and as they're being tested, they have some study material. This is study material right now for them. This is study material. Yah is giving them a record to go back to. They're able to see, oh, in the future, they're going to be able to recollect and say, oh, yeah, we were hungry. We were complaining. Yah brought down manna from heaven. He showed us his esteem. This is something that they should be able to go back to, and this should help them as they are being tested. Verse 13. And it came to pass that at even the quails came up and covered the camp, and in the morning the dew lay round about the host. And when the dew that was gone up, behold, upon the face of the wilderness there lay a small round thing, as small as the hoarfrost on the ground. And when the children of Israel saw it, they said one to another, it is manna. For they wist not what it was. They didn't know what it was, so they called it manna. And Moses said unto them, this is the bread which Yah hath given you to eat. Okay, verse 16. This is the thing which Yah had commanded. Gather of it every man according to his eating an omer. All right, this is where Israel, this is where we should have been taking notes right here. We should be taking notes because Yah's giving us a commandment right here. So he's saying we have to gather and take an omer. Now, what is an omer? An omer, if you don't mind highlighting it, it's a omer is a heap or a sheaf. It's a dry measure. If you look up and see how much was an omer approximately, from what I've seen, it's approximately about 2 liters. So the the Israelites, they had a certain amount that they were supposed to take. Verse 3, it says, for every man according to the number of your persons. Take ye every man for them which are in his tents. So they were only supposed to take a certain amount, no more than that. Verse 17. And the children of Israel did so and gathered some more, some less. So we already see they weren't all of them weren't listening. Some did more, some did less. And when they did meet with an omer, he that gathered much had nothing left over, and he that gathered little had no lack. They gathered every man according to his eating. And Moses said, let no man leave of it till the morning. And Moses said, Moses said, let no man leave of it till the morning. Verse 20. Notwithstanding, they hearkened, they listened not unto Moses. But some of them left of it until the morning, and it bred worms and stank. And Moses was wroth with them. He was angry with them. Moses just told them exactly what to do. We heard the commandment, very simple. Take an omer every day. Take an omer every day, and on the 6th day, gather twice as much. Very simple instruction. Verse 21, and they gathered it every morning, every man according to his eating, and when the sun waxed hot, it melted. And it came to pass that on the 6th day they gathered twice as much bread, 2 omers for one man, and all the rulers of the congregations came and told Moses. And he said unto them, this is that which Yah hath said, tomorrow is the rest of the holy Shabbat unto Yah. Bake that which ye will bake today, and seethe that ye will seethe, and that which remaineth over lay up for you to be kept until the morning. So I just want to walk through this verse, through this passage, for us to see that the Most High knew exactly what he was doing. He was sending Israel to a place where they were going to be hungry for a little while. And the Most High said, I'm going to send manna. And he gave specific instructions, very simple instructions. And we see that even with the simple instructions, we see Israel did not always follow the instructions. You had some that would be obedient, and then you had others who just ignored the instructions. Let's read a few more verses. Verse 25. Moses said, eat that today, for today is the Sabbath unto Yah. Today ye shall not find it in the field. 6 days ye shall gather it, but on the 7th day, which is the Sabbath, In it there shall be none. And it came to pass, there went out some of the people on the seventh day. So they're going out on the Shabbat for to gather, and they didn't find anything. They found none. And Yah said unto Moses, how long refuse ye to keep my commandments and my laws? See, now the Most High is starting to get angry. He's starting to get upset with these rebellious Israelites. He's starting to get upset because he's saying, y'all just not listening. I'm giving y'all some simple instructions. Be obedient. Y'all was complaining. Remember, y'all was complaining about not having any food. Y'all was complaining, and so what did I do? I did something that that the world hasn't seen yet. I'm raining bread from heaven. How much do I got to do for y'all, Israel, before y'all just gonna be obedient? I mean, I took y'all out of Egypt. I took you on wings of an eagle. I brought you out and parted the sea of reeds. Pharaoh and all his men, they were drowning in the Reed Sea. Y'all saw my kabod. Y'all saw my esteem. Y'all saw it all. And yet y'all still are refusing to keep my commandments. So I'm even raining bread down from heaven, but y'all still are being disobedient. It sounds like a group of people I know. Sounds like a group of people I know today. This let's not look at those ancients and just say, how could they have been like that? There's some people today that are like this. This some of us in the room at times act just like this. We've heard the instructions over and over and over again, yet we still try to do things our own way. We still try to do things our own way. So let's continue. We're gonna look at another example. Akifa, if you wouldn't mind, we're going to go to Exodus chapter 20. We're going to look at another test. We're going to look at another test. Exodus chapter 20, this is where we see the commandments, the 10 commandments. And I am going to start at verse, give me 1 second. I have a little issue, technical difficulties. Give me 1 second here. We're going to start at verse 18. Verse 18. So we just read the 10 commandments earlier. We read the Ten Commandments earlier. Now, right after the Most High gives the Ten Commandments, this is what happens. It says, and all the people saw the thunderings and the lightnings and the noise of the trumpet and the mountain smoking. And when the people saw it, they removed and they stood far off. So what the Most High has just done, he's done something similar to what we just saw in Exodus 16. The Most High has just given some commandments. He's given some instructions. And after he's given those instructions, we see the same pattern. Now they are seeing the esteem of Yah. They are seeing the kabod. They're seeing how awesome Yah is. They're seeing his power. So they saw those thunderings, they saw those lightnings, and they heard that trumpet, and they said, you know what? This is a little scary. So we're gonna remove ourselves and we're gonna stand afar off. That's what they said at the end of verse 18. We're gonna move back because I ain't never seen lightning like that before. And oh Johnny's our shofar player, and Johnny over there he ain't playing nothing. So it sounds like them shofars is coming out the clouds or something. They coming out of somewhere. So I don't know about that, and then they start seeing smoke coming from the mountain. They like they ain't nobody up there on that mountain. Today is a nice, wonderful day. There's no forest fires. We don't got no forest fires out here. Where's that smoke coming from? So, I can imagine why they might be a little bit frightened and want to move back, stand far off. So in verse 19, they said unto Moshe, speak thou with us, and we will hear. But let not Elohim speak with us. We don't want to die. We saw that. We saw that. That was like a movie. We don't even know what a movie is, but that looked like a movie, and that was terrifying. That was very dramatic. So they asked Moses, from now on, can you do that for us? Can you talk? And because we don't want to die. Verse 20, Moses said unto the people, fear not, for Elohim is come to, there's that word again, he's come to prove you, and that his fear may be before your faces, that ye sin not. So the Most High, this is another test that is occurring here. The Most High, he's bringing right. Remember, he just gave the commandments, the 10 commandments, these instructions for all of Israel. After they hear the instructions, then he shows to the people the thunder and the lightnings. This is his kabod, his his power, and he's doing this because he wants them to experience his fear. He says, and that his fear may be before your faces, so that they don't sin. This is what the Most High wanted for them. So we're going to see, we're going to see a little bit later that even though Yah did all this, he gave them the simplistic instructions, just 10 commandments for them to follow, and then he put his stamp of approval. He's letting them know, hey, this is me. This is me that's giving these words to you. These are my instructions. He's putting his stamp of approval with the lightning and the thunder, even though they received all these instructions, they still, we're going to see, people are still going to sin. So this is another one of those tests. So in Deuteronomy 8, chapter 1, it says, all the commandments which I command you this day shall ye observe to do, that ye may live and multiply, and go in and possess the land which Yah swore unto your fathers. So you don't have to go there, but they knew that Israel knew that there was a land for them to go and possess, because in Genesis 15:18, it says, in the same day Yah made a covenant with Abraham, saying, unto thy seed I have given this land, from the river of Egypt unto the great river, the river Euphrates. And in Genesis 17:8, it says, and I will give unto thee and to thy seed after thee the land wherein thou art a stranger, all the land of Canaan, for an everlasting possession, and I will be their Elohim. So this is nothing new. The Most High had already promise to give to their fathers a land. And so he wanted them, when they get to the land, he wants them to be able to live. He wants them to be able to multiply. He wants them to be able to possess. Verse 2, it says, and thou shalt remember all the way which Yah thy Elohim led thee these 40 years in the wilderness. And this is why he did it. This is the reason he did it, to humble thee, and to prove thee, to test thee, and to know what was in thy heart, whether thou would keep his commandments or no. So the Most High is saying, you're going to remember, you shall remember all the ways I led you these 40 years. And I did it for a few reasons. One is because I want you to be humbled. And I did it so that you can be tested. And I tested you to know what was in your heart, whether or not you would keep his commandments or no. See, remember, we're talking about a test that's going to allow us to enter in. It's like an entrance exam. And so the purpose of all these experiences that we've been reading about, whether it was the manna or when they were at the mountain and they saw the lightning and the thunderings and they saw the or they heard the trumpet, all this is so that they would be humbled and to test them for the purpose of knowing whether or not are you going to keep my commandments. I'm going to do these things for your benefit. Verse 3, it says, and he humbled thee and suffered thee to hunger. He allowed you to hunger. That's what that means, suffered thee to hunger. And fed thee with manna, which thou knewest not, neither did thy fathers know. Now, now this stood out to me when I was reading this because I was thinking to myself, does this mean that Yah will actually let you go hungry? He's the one that is permitting this to happen? Yah said, I want to read it again just to make sure I read it right. Verse 3, he humbled you and suffered thee, allowed you to hunger. So, like we said earlier, Yah knew what he was doing. Yah is omniscient. He knows everything. He's doing everything for a purpose. So even when the Israelites were complaining, they were saying, "Oh, why'd you bring us out here, Moses? We're gonna die." He was doing that to see what was in their heart. He was doing that to see, are they gonna keep my commandments? Even after they hungered, then this is what he did. He fed them with manna. So now he's answered, their cryings, their murmurings, and now he's giving them what they want. And he still is testing them in that. Because just like we can be in lack and disobey the Most High Yah, Yah can give us everything we need. And we can be rich and have an abundance of things and still disobey the Most High Yah. So let's keep reading. It says, he allowed thee to hunger and fed thee with manna, which thou knewest not, neither did thy fathers know. So even their fathers, the forefathers, Abraham, he never saw bread falling from heaven. He never saw that. Isaac didn't know nothing about that. Jacob didn't see that. He said, y'all Israelites that I delivered, y'all saw this happen, that he might make thee know that man doth not live by bread only, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of Yah doth man live. So he did this for a purpose. He did this for a reason. He wanted Israel to know, hey, y'all hungry right now. Y'all are hungry, but this bread that y'all used to, I know y'all used to the cucumbers and the pomegranates, and y'all used to the having figs, and y'all used to the olives. Y'all used to having bread and being able to make it whenever you want to. That ain't really what's keeping you alive. What's keeping you alive is every word that comes out of my mouth. Every word that comes out of my mouth is how you are being sustained. Every word that I say, if you don't hold on to every word that I say, you're not going to live. You know what? Let's look at an example. Let's take a little pause real quick. Let's go to Genesis chapter 2. Genesis chapter 2. And we're going to look at verse 16. 16. Because the Most High, before Israel was a nation, the Most High gave Adam and the woman some instructions. He said, in verse 16, they're in the Garden of Eden here. He says, and Yah commanded the man, saying, of every tree of the garden thou mayest freely eat, but of the tree of knowledge of good and evil thou shalt not eat of it, for in the day you eat thereof, you're going to surely die. So think about this for a second. The Most High Yah is letting Adam and the woman know that Y'all got trees, y'all got all kinds of trees y'all can eat. And I planted these trees myself. So you don't gotta worry about no GMOs. You don't have to worry about these trees being diseased. You don't have to worry about none of that. These is gonna be the healthiest food that ever will exist on this earth in this present state because I'm the one that planted this. So there's food all over the place. I'm sure they had, I know they had fig trees. I know they had that because they covered themselves with fig leaves. So that's one I know they had. I'm sure they had apples. I can imagine that they had mango trees, one of my favorite. I'm sure they had grapes growing on the vine. But the Most High Yah said, even though you can eat from all of that, all these trees that are going to give your body some sustenance, if you don't hold on to this word right here, if you eat of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, guess what? You're going to die. You are going to surely die. That word in Hebrew is the word die twice. That's why it says surely die. So we got to take this literally. We got to take this literally because Adam and Hava, the woman, they disobeyed this instruction, and now we're in the state, all of humanity is in the state that it's in. Every word that comes out of the Most High's mouth matters. Every word brings life. Every single word. We know that Yahusha HaMashiach, who is the word of Elohim who came in flesh, John 1:14, we know that he is the living word and he is life. He is our life. So this life, this everlasting life that we this everlasting life comes by holding on to what Yah has said. And we're seeing just from this example here that Israel, many of them, they died in the wilderness because they didn't take this seriously enough. Okay, let's keep reading. Deuteronomy 8, and we're looking at verse 4 now. So it says, Thy raiment wax not old upon thee, neither did thy foot swell these 40 years. Thou shalt also consider in thy heart that as a man chasteneth his son, so doth Yah chasteneth thee. So Israel went through all these things. They went through all these testings in the wilderness, but to Yah be all the honor for that. Because Yah is only going to chasten a son. Just as we talked about earlier, we got to become like children. When we receive correction from the Most High, when we receive instruction, we got to humble ourselves as a little child so that we'll receive that instruction because we know only those that receive or those only those that become like little children, those that are converted, those are the only ones that are going to enter into the kingdom as we saw in Matthew 18:3. So we got to remind ourselves constantly, if we are a child of the Most High Yah, we are going to go through some tests, and it is not going to always be easy. It's going to be a challenge. So thou shalt consider, remember, consider in your heart. He's chastising you as a son. Okay, we're going to go to Psalm 95 now, verse 1 through 11, and this is actually going to lead to the key verse that the Most High shared with me. Uh, let's start in verse 1. It says, "O come, let's sing unto Yah. Let us make a joyful noise to the rock of our salvation." You know, we were talking about praising a little bit earlier, and we got to praise the Most High Yah. I got a little excited as I was praising. Uh, just by the way, just to let y'all know, I know the scripture says that we can praise the Most High 7 times a day, but I like to cheat every now and then. I like to throw in 8 every now and then. I like to do uh 8 every now and then. And then sometimes I'm really just blessed by the Most High, and I might even do it 9 times a day. Sometimes, even that's not enough, and I might even have to praise Yah 10 times a day, every now and then. So, oh, come, let us sing in the Yah. Yah loves to be praised. He loves to be magnified. He loves to be sung unto. He loves that. Let us make a joyful noise to the rock of our salvation. Let us come before his presence with thanksgiving and make a joyful noise unto him with psalms. See, when we come to the Most High with an attitude of praise, an attitude of thanksgiving, we're singing, making a joyful noise, that sets our mindset. It puts our attitude in the right frame of mind to be before the king. You don't want to go before a king and be all depressed and be all angry and be all sad. Nobody got time for that. Nobody wants to see that. We want to be around people that are happy. We want to be around people that are joyful. The Most High Yah, he's no different. So when we enter his gates with thanksgiving and enter his courts with praise, he's like, hey, hey, come with a joyful attitude. Come, come with a mind to being thankful. Come with make a joyful noise with psalms. I remember, I don't have the script in front of me, but I remember there was a young lady who danced before Herod. Herod was so pleased that he said, hey, I'm gonna give you up to half of my kingdom. I'll give you up to half of my kingdom. That's how impressed he was with that dance, with that. And the you know the a king will often extend his favor. Thank you, Matthew 14 verse 6. The king will often extend favor when you please him. So just to throw that out there for those of us who need a little bit of help with praising the Most High. Verse 3, it says, for Yah is the great Elohim and a great king above all those other deities. In his hand are the deep places of the earth. The strength of the hills is his also. The sea is his, and he made it. His hands formed the dry land. So the Most High Yah, he's saying right here, he's he's great. He's great. He's the king that's above all other Elohim, all other deities. He is uh, the maker of heaven and earth. He's in his hands are the deep places of the earth, the strength of the hills. They also belong to him. The sea is his, as big and as vast as the sea, and as powerful and as strong as the sea is. That belongs to him too. He made it. His hands formed the dry land. Because of all this, you know what? Oh, come, let us worship and bow down. Let us kneel before Yah, our Maker. Humble ourselves. I keep seeing this theme over and over and over again. When we worship and we bow down before the Most High Yah, that is a form of humbling ourselves before the Most High Yah. That is a way that we are saying, you know what, Yah, I don't got all this figured out, and you're my creator, you're my maker. So that means you're worthy of all the praise and all the honor, all the esteem. I'm going to worship you. I'm going to submit to you. That's worship, just being obedient to the Most High Yah. I'm going to bow down. I'm going to bow down my thoughts, my desires, my cares, the way I want to do things. Yes, I might want to take some extra manna. I might want to take 2 or 3 omers because I'm scared that I might run out of food, you know, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to bow down and I'm going to worship you. I'm going to kneel before you because you're my maker. I submit to you. That's the attitude that the Most High Yah wants us to have. He created everything. So that's the least we can do. It's our reasonable service. Verse 7, for he is our Elohim. We are the people of his pasture and the sheep of his hand. See, we're the sheep. He's the shepherd. He leads, we follow. Now here's the key. We're getting to the key verse here. Today, if you will hear his voice, harden not your heart as in the provocation, as in the day of temptation in the wilderness. This right here, this is for us today. This is for us today. Today, if we hear his voice, I believe we're hearing the voice of the Most High Yah. We're hearing his word on today. We're hearing the word. We're reading the scriptures. The Ruach is actually ministering to some of y'all, even right now on this call, and you're hearing his voice. So as you hear his voice, make sure you don't harden your heart. Make sure that heart is heart open to receive from the Most High. Don't harden your heart as in the provocation. So provocation means, when you're being provoked. You know how you can provoke somebody by annoying them, by you ki- think of a child who is just keeps on poking his brother or his sister, just keep poking them, just provoking them to anger. You keep bothering them. You keep doing what you know they don't like. This is what Israel did to the Most High Yah. They provoked him. They kept poking him. They kept saying, "Hey, hey, I know the Most High. He said this. He gave us this commandment, this instruction, but we're gonna do it this way. We're gonna do it this way. We're gonna do it our way." So don't listen to his voice. Don't harden your heart, as in the provocation, as in the day of temptation in the wilderness. When your fathers tempted me and proved me and saw my work, they saw the work. Remember, they saw the lightnings and the thunder. They saw all of that. They saw the manna come down from heaven. 40 years long I was grieved with this generation. He said I had to deal with this provocation for 40 years. I was grieved with them for 40 years and said, it is a people that do err in their heart. Now that word err, it actually means to wander, like going astray. It means to you can think of someone that is like drunkard or stammered. They're drunk and they don't know. They just going in whatever direction. They're not going the right way. They just wandering, going wherever. So this is what Israel did in their hearts. They went astray in their heart, and they have not known my ways. They didn't know them. Unto whom I swear in my wrath, they should not enter into my rest. They provoked them. They kept being disobedient. So the Most High Yah said, y'all not going to enter. And so we know many of the children of Israel did not make it into the land. So we're going to look at a few more of these tests, because this is speaking to us today. Today, we don't want to harden our hearts just like they harden their hearts. This is not written for the people that lived back then. This is written for us today, because we want to enter into a kingdom that's coming. We want to enter into that. And right now we need to treat the way we are living right now. We need to treat this like this is our wilderness experience. That's what we need to do. Let's treat this just like the children of Israel as they were leaving Egypt. Let's treat this just like that. This is our time to learn, to be tested and learn, so that we can enter into this wonderful kingdom that he has prepared for those that love him. Okay, let's go to Exodus 15, and we're going to look at two more examples uh, in the scripts before we wrap things up. Exodus 15, we're going to go to verse 20. Let's go to verse 22. it says, verse 22, so Moses brought Israel from the Red Sea, or the Sea of Reeds, and they went out into the wilderness of Shur, and they went 3 days in the wilderness and found no water. Now we have some insights into this already. We got some insights. We know that the Most High Yah, we know that he has a tendency to suffer people to hunger. He has a tendency to do that. He has a tendency to allow people to be tested. So, keeping that in mind, this is another one of these examples. We see they're going to the wilderness, but this time there's no water. There's no water. So, let's not automatically assume the enemy is the one that did this. The enemy, he came out here and he took all the water away. So now we're mad and we're angry. Nope, it wasn't the enemy. Let's keep reading. Verse 23. And when they came to Marah, they could not drink the waters of Marah, for they were bitter. Therefore the name of it was called Marah. So now they come into a place called that they named Marah because they went 3 days without water. I mean, that's a decent amount of time to go without water. And they came to this place and they found water, but it was bitter. So they named it Mara, and then verse 24, something we've seen before. And the people murmured against Moses, saying, "What shall we drink?" Why? I got a question. Why they always coming at Moses? Why they always coming at What did Moses? Moses ain't do nothing but help the Israelites, but they just want to put blame on Moses all the time, not taking accountability. They they just, I don't know. I don't understand it, but I guess then again I do understand it because there's been times when I have blamed it on somebody else too. There's been times when I have done that too. There's been times when I've been thirsty in one way or another and didn't take accountability. That's right, Ako. I didn't take accountability. And so what did I do? The person right next to me, hey, you blame it on them. Seems like that's what they're doing. They always got to go to Moses. So the people that complained against Moses, they said, "What shall we drink? What we gonna drink, Moses? You the one that brought us out here." Verse 25, and he cried unto Yah, and Yah showed him a tree, which when he had cast it into the waters were made sweet. There he made for them a statute and an ordinance. And guess what? And there he proved them. We see this word again. He proved them. So the people complaining again, what does Yah do? Yah shows Moses a tree. See, Yah, he's so awesome. Yah can just throw a tree in the water and it becomes good to drink. That's the Elohim that I serve. He could just pick up a tree. Hey, the water bitter. Oh, okay, I'll pick up this tree. It's all good now. See, that's how awesome he is. Imagine the Israelites seeing something like that happen. Picking up, telling Moses, "Hey, go over there, get that tree, put it in the water, and it's sweet. Now you can drink it. It's good. It's good for you." And you still being disobedient. Still be disobedient after all that has happened. And we're gonna keep reading. We're gonna see that happened. Even after this experience, Israel, they ain't gonna learn their lesson. They ain't gonna learn their lesson. Verse 20, verse 26, and said, "If thou wilt diligently hearken to the voice of Yah thy Elohim, and will do that which is right in his sight, and will give ear to his commandments, and keep all his statutes, this is what I'm gonna do." He said, "I'm going to put none of these diseases upon you, which I brought on the Egyptians, for I am Yah that healeth you." So Yah says it's simple. Just Hearken diligently unto my voice, unto my words. Listen to me. Do that which is right in the Most High sight. Give ear to His commandments. See, one of the issues that we have as, and I'm talking to Israel, one of the issues we have is we listen to too many different voices. There's too many voices in this world. You know, I'm just gonna give a quick example. So like if you think about all of the different ways you can lose weight, you know, you'll have one person say, you know, just cut out all your carbs. You have another person say, you know, let just go vegan. Don't eat meat. You got another person say, no, eat more meat. You need to eat more meat. Just do that. You have other people uh uh say, you know what, just juice. You know, there's all types of different voices in the world just on that one little subject. You might have different voices for all types of things. We got this thing called the internet now, which I like to call a tree of knowledge of good and evil. We got that thing too. You know, I'm studying. I'm a student of investing myself. I like to figure out ways to invest so that I can, you know, do right by my family, so that, you know, when I'm gone, we'll have something. So I'm constantly looking at things. But you know, when I looked in the internet, you know what I saw? I saw one person saying do this, and then another person say do the opposite of that. I'm like, well, hold on. This is supposed to be a place of reputable information, but y'all talking about two different things that actually oppose each other. You know, when you have a world that are in contradiction and opposition with one another, there's so many voices. You know, the way to have less stress and to have a peaceful mindset, and a way to not have so much burdens, is to do this right here in verse 26, right there in the middle. Give ear to His commandments. Focus on that. Focus on His commandments. You won't, I guarantee you're not going to have so much stress. I guarantee at the bottom it says, I ain't even going to put these diseases on you that I put on other people. I guarantee your marriage life is going to improve. Is going to improve the more of Yah's commandments that you begin to learn and heed to and obey and follow. I'm telling you what, your children, they are going to begin to improve as well as you begin to follow His commandments, follow His instructions. I started noticing when I would do, you know, when I would teach my children Yah's instructions, when you know how we're supposed to teach them the instructions, whether we're walking on the way or whether we're lying down, you know, wherever we are, you know, I like to just throw something every now and then, a precept or a principle, something that they can learn, so that as they continue to get older and older, this stuff is going to be ingrained into them. And you know, I didn't always do that, but as I'm beginning to do that more and more and more and more, I'm seeing the results of it. Let's give ear to Yah's commandments. Let's do things the way He said to do it. Let's keep His statutes, and we're going to see things. I guarantee you. I guarantee you. He says He's Yah that healeth us. So this is the first. Actually, let me read one more verse I want to read. Let's look at verse 27. It says, and they came to Elim, where all 12 wells of water and threescore and ten palm trees, and they encamped there by the waters. So after after all of this, after the bitter water, after them complaining, Yah gives them the Yah tells Moses, hey, dip this, show them a tree, cast it into the water. It becomes the waters now become sweet, they become good. Yah gives this promise. He says, if you obey me, you hearken diligently to my commandments, then I'm gonna make sure that you stay healthy. And so then they come into Elam, and then there's 12 wells of water. 3 score and 10 palm trees. They encamped there by the water. So Yah was just testing them. He was testing to see what was in their heart. Eventually, he brings them to a place. Exodus 17. Exodus 17. So now we're going to see another example of testing. Verse 1, it says, And all the congregation of the children of Israel journeyed from the wilderness of Sin after their journeys, according to the commandment of Yah, and pitched in Rephidim. And guess what? There was no water for the people to drink. Now, we just read in Exodus 15 that there was no water. For 3 days, the Israelites, they didn't have any water. Then they get to Mara and they found bitter water, right? Now we're going to see if the Israelites really learned their lesson. We just 2 chapters over. That's it. 2 chapters over. Did they really learn their lesson? One thing I want you to notice though, the scripture says that they journeyed from the wilderness of Sin after their journeys according to the commandment of Yah. So this ain't Moses. This is not Moses telling them to go. They went after the commandment of Yah. This is Yah's commandment. That's important. So they go to a place, no water, but Yah commanded them to do that. Keep that in mind. Yah commanded them to go to a place where they knew where they were going to be thirsty. Verse 2. Wherefore the people did chide with Moses. Oh, well, they ain't learned nothing. They didn't learn nothing. Just 2 chapters over. You got a similar thing happening, and they chide with Moses. They complain again and said, "Give us water that we may drink." And Moses said unto them, "Why every time y'all coming to me? Why every time y'all complaining with me? Why do you tempt Yah?" He's, you know, Moses keeps letting them know the same thing. You know, y'all are coming at me, but really y'all coming at the Most High. You're really you're testing the Most High. You are provoking him because it's the Most High Yah that brought you here just to see how they got to this place called Rephidim where there was no water. Let's go to Exodus 13 real quick, and we'll go to verse 20. So it says, And they took their journey from Sukkot and encamped in Etham in the edge of the wilderness. And Yah went before them by day in a pillar of a cloud to lead them the way, and by night in a pillar of fire to give them light to go by day and night. And he took not away the pillar of cloud by day, nor the pillar of fire by night from before the people. And let's go to Exodus 40:36. And when the cloud was taken up from over the tabernacle, the children of Israel went onward in all their journeys. But if the cloud were not taken up, then they journeyed not till the day that it was taken up. Israel wasn't being led by Moses. Israel was being led by the Most High Yah in a awesome grand fashion. They have this cloud by day and this pillar of fire that's moving. And when that moves, Israelites know it's time to get up, it's time to go, it's time for us to journey. So when we go back to Exodus chapter 17 and we look at how the children of Israel got into this place where there was no water, they should not be confused. They know when Moses is leading them, he's only taking them because the pillar of fire and the cloud is moving. So it's time for them to move. So this is not warranted at all for them to be going against Moses. Sometimes we know, uh, we can know that the Most High is telling us to do something, and things aren't going the way we think they should go. And so we forget, the Yah oftentimes is testing us. He's oftentimes allowing us to go through the pain. He's allowing us to go through it. I'm not saying every time, but we see here from this example. If I had time, we would go into Job, but I don't have time. But we see in this example, yeah, he's allowing them to go through this. Let's look at verse 3. The people thirsted there for water. The people murmured against Moses and said, Wherefore is this that thou hast brought us up out of Egypt to kill us and our children and our cattle with thirst? The audacity for them to say this after all that Yah has done for them, after all that Yah has brought them through. They already had a water miracle happen. You mean to tell me they're not learning from that? This is the second water miracle that's about to occur. And so Yah, he's testing them again. Verse 4, and Moses cried unto Yah, saying, What shall I do unto this people? See, Moses has had it. What should I do with this people? They almost be ready to stone me. Yah said unto Moses, Go on before the people, and take with thee of the elders of Israel thy rod wherewith thou hast smotest the river, and take in thy hand and go. Behold, I will stand before thee there upon the rock in Horeb, and thou shalt smite the rock, and there shall come water out of it, that the people may drink. And Moses did so in the sight of the elders of Israel. So we know the story. Moses, he smote the rock. He was supposed to just speak to the rock. He spoke to it. Verse 7, it says, and he called the name of the place Massah and Meribah, because of the chiding of the children of Israel, because they tempted Yah, saying, Is Yah among us or not? So we see these examples, and now we know that Israel, they oftentimes they fail. So now I can't leave you with that. Now that we know that Israel's going to be tested, we know that we are going to be tested because we're Israel as well. What do we do about it? How do we make sure that we pass the test? How do we pass the test? I'm going to share my screen. Uh, how do we pass the test? We got to go to the source. We got to go to the place from which we get our information. So let's look at 2 Timothy 2:15. Study, study to show thyself approved unto Elohim, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. Notice here this word approved. You see prove in here. So we study to show ourselves approved, thoroughly tested by Yah, and able to be used as a workman, you know, that needeth not be ashamed when we study and we rightly divide the word of truth. So one thing that the Israelites did, they had the commandments, they knew the instructions. Yah gave it to them through Moses, but they decided to be disobedient. 1 Thessalonians 5:21. We want to prove all things and hold fast to that which is good. So just because every now and then you'll have a group of people who tell you to do something, you might have a crowd of people that are rebels and they want to do things their own way and it goes against the Most High Yah. Well, how you make sure that you are in alignment with the Most High's words, you're obeying His commandments, is by proving all things. Just because you hear something and it sounds good, don't mean it's good. Just because there's a piece of fruit that has the appearance to make you wise, just like it did in the garden, That don't mean that it's good for food. So we want to prove all things. And lastly, Matthew 4. We always got to look at Yahusha and see what did he do when he was tested. We're going to look at Matthew chapter 4, and it says, then was Yahusha led up of the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted of the devil, tested of the devil. And when he had fasted for 40 days and 40 nights, he was afterward hungry. The children of Israel, they were in the wilderness for 40 years, right? And there were times when they were hungry. There were times when they were thirsty as well. But let's see how did Yahusha respond during his period of 40? Verse 3, it says, when the tempter came to him, he said, if thou be the son of Elohim, command that these stones be made bread. But he answered and said, it is written, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of Yah. I think I've heard that before. Weren't we just reading? Weren't we just reading about this passage? Here it is, Deuteronomy chapter 8. Remember we read about Yah leading the Israelites in the wilderness to humble them and to test them, to know what was in their heart. Then it says that he might make thee know that man doth not live by bread only, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of Yah doth man live. So Yahusha is actually taking us back. He's taking us back to the wilderness. He's taking us back to the experience that the Israelites oftentimes failed. Verse 5, it says, then the devil taketh him up unto the holy city, and setteth him on a pinnacle of the temple, and said unto him, if thou be the son of Elohim, cast thyself down, for it is written, he shall give his angels charge concerning thee, and in their hands they shall bear thee up, lest at any time thou shalt dash thy foot against a stone. So that's what the enemy said to Yahusha, but Yahusha said unto him, it's written again, thou shalt not tempt Yah thy Elohim. So isn't that what, or thou shalt not test Yah thy Elohim? Isn't that what the Israelites did when they went to Mara and they had the bitter waters? They found bitter waters there. They tested Yah because he allowed them to thirst. He allowed them to hunger. But they complained to Moses and said, you know, where we gonna get water from? What you bring us out here for? You bring us out here to die? Yahusha is now showing us how they should have handled that. They should have handled the situation by remembering it is written. What did Yah say beforehand? I'm going to go back to the source. That's how we're going to pass the test. Again, the devil taketh him up to an exceeding high mountain, and showeth him all the kingdoms of the world and the esteem of them, and saith unto him, all these things will I give thee, if thou wilt fall down and worship me. Then saith Yahusha unto him, get thee hence, Satan, for it is written, thou shalt worship Yah thy Elohim, and him only shalt thou serve. So, Mishpachah, I want to end with this. We are truly in a test, and this entrance exam that we're going through is so that we can enter into the kingdom. So just as we saw Yahusha, just as we saw he passed his test by remembering the words of Yah, Just as we saw how the Israelites oftentimes did not pass the test because of their lack of faith, their lack of trust in Yah's words, and they didn't get to enter into the land, we're going to be different. I choose to be different. I choose to stand on Yah's word. I choose to obey. I choose not to blame all the calamities that happen to me on somebody else. We got to keep in mind as we're going through our tests, as we're going through our trials, it's all working out for our good. All things are working out for our good. It works for the good of those that love him and are the called according to his purpose. We got to remember that Yah chastises those that are his children. So let's pray. Abba Yah, we thank you, we honor you, we bless your name. You are good, so good to us. We thank you, Father, for your word. We thank you for your instructions that you've given us. We know these things are written for our learning. We know these things that the ancient Israelites went through is to teach us how we are to live today so that we don't make the same mistakes. I thank you for our examples that we have in the scriptures. I thank you that we have examples like Moses. I thank you that you've given us examples like Job, who was tested as well. We thank you for examples, the ultimate example, Yahushua HaMashiach, who passed every test so that we can know how we can pass the test. We give you all praise, we give you all honor, we give you all esteem. I ask that you bless each and every one that's on this call. I ask, Father, that you bless those that are watching on YouTube as well. And we ask, Father, that you continue to remind us. We ask that you strengthen us, and we ask that you help us not to harden our hearts. Help us to humble ourselves before you, Father, so that we can be obedient and so that we can enter the land, so that we can experience your kingdom. We thank you. We bless your name. In the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.